Welcome back. Now, the Lok Sabha elections have seen artificial intelligence impact the spread of information in a big way. I caught up with the Financial Times' first artificial intelligence editor and the author of Code Dependent, Madhumita Murjia, to explore what impact deepfakes and artificial intelligence could have in general elections and how it has affected public perceptions ahead of the ongoing elections and what steps, importantly, can be taken to combat it. Take a look.
I think there's always going to be external forces that shape what people believe, right? That's just how propaganda works, how campaigning works, and we as a people, we listen to what other people say and then we make our decision based on all of these outside influences. So this is not new. Even within the sort of arc of technology, we've seen, you talked about recommendation systems. And it's not just telling us what to watch or what to listen to, but it's also on social media platforms, it's what should we read, right? What ads should we click on? And we've already seen in previous elections around the world, like in the 2016 US election, that you had, propaganda by other countries that they kind of hijacked these algorithms to essentially influence what people were seeing and therefore influence their vote. So at least this is what is believed about that election. So that continues to happen. Social media reaches so many people and you still have AI systems that filter what we see and create bubbles. And I think when you live in a world where what I see and what you see don't cross over at all, it means we become polarized because we don't have a common point of understanding and we both believe we live in different worlds. I think in the future, what's really interesting about AI is the companies that I talk to, their goal is to create AI personal assistants.
Let's also talk about another aspect in terms of the clear and present danger when we're talking about AI. Very recently, we had the Home Minister of our country impacted with deepfakes. That is something that we're talking increasingly here in India, especially in the context of the ongoing elections. We understand that there's this technology available. It's available to malafide actors, which is being used for political ends, for financial fraud, for identity theft, for misinformation. Is this, to your mind, the biggest threat that we have with the current AI technology and the capabilities?
I don't think it's the biggest threat. It certainly is an existing and present threat. As you said, there's lots of ways in which deepfakes can be used, and I think financial scams is one that's kind of caught lots of people's attention all over the world, impersonating your child's voice and asking for help and so on. With elections, there's an interesting project going on trying to actually record all the instances of election-based deepfake and all around the world. We've seen it happen in the US with Joe Biden's voice being used here. There are multiple examples of audio deepfakes, which is on the rise in particular. Video deepfakes are becoming more sophisticated. And yes, you can manipulate it to essentially have anyone say anything. But I think that actually there are ways to address that, right? One is the regulation question of making sure these companies are identifying that something is AI generated so that we aren't confused. And then the second one is public education. To know that you can't trust what you see with your eyes, which maybe wasn't true 10 years ago, or even what you hear, right? And you need to question whether something is contextually makes sense to begin with and sort of apply a bit more of that reasoning capability rather than just trusting what you see. But this has to be the companies participating to help us identify that as well.
Interesting. So that's the end of the first part of this conversation. The second part, I thought we could make it a little more interesting, where we bring in AI. We've been discussing AI all along. I thought how to make it more interesting, how to let AI have a word in this conversation, in this dialogue. And I thought one way to do that is to perhaps, I went to an LLM just before this conversation. I punched in a few keywords to get an assessment of a few firebrand questions, which will give us a sense of how you feel about it. This is going to be a quick Q&A session, a rapid-fire session.
Okay.
But these
I
are
will
not
try my best.
These are questions not from me, but from an AI LLM. So let's begin with that. The first question, code-dependent, is it a metaphor or a reality?
Reality.
Biggest AI surprise in your research?
How much of the failure is down to humans rather than technology?
Future of work with AI, friend or a foe?
Ooh. Can I sit in the middle for that one? I'm trying to avoid the black and white. Nuance.
Makes
Gray.
sense. Deepfakes, biggest threat?
No.
AI bias solution, one word answer, is it education or regulation?
Sorry, can you say that one again?
AI bias solution.
AI bias solution.
Yeah.
Okay.
What would your one word solution be? Is it regulation or education?
Education.
Healthcare and AI, one benefit.
Saving lives.
Responsible AI development, what is the key factor? Transparency or accountability?
Humans in the loop.
Human versus machine intelligence, future, collaboration or competition?
Collaboration.
Your hope for AI's impact on society, one word.
That it helps us live better lives.
And one final question, code dependence core message, if you could summarize for the benefit of our viewers in one sentence.
Technologies come and go, but it's the human spirit that will always win out.
Well, with that, it's a wrap on this edition of Election Exchange. More news and updates continue right here on CNBC TV 18.